Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports here. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NCAA college football week number uno. Yes, last week we had 4 games on the slate. Week 0, week 1, we're going to do 21 games. So each week we're going to do 25 different games. So I don't typically take the worst teams or the best teams, do a kind of combination. As we get into week 4, 5, and 6, and kind of a little bit later in the year, I typically will do all the undefeated teams, then the 1-loss teams, and then fill it with 2-loss teams. So we just did a kind of a collaboration of all the games here in week 1. We did, like I said, we did 4 last week, 21 this week. So the first game, we have the North Carolina Tar Heels, the ACC, 4-4 last year in conference, 8-5 overall. They're taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers out of the Big Ten. They're 3-6 at conference, 6-7 overall. North Carolina is favored by 2. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 49.5. In week 0, I was 2-2 on straight up picks, 1-3 against the spread, and 2-2 on the over/under. The Temple Owls out of the American Conference, they were 1-7 in conference, 3-9 overall last year. Oklahoma Sooners, Big 12, 7-2 in conference, 10-3 out of conference, 10-3 overall. Oklahoma's favored by 42.5. with an over-under of 59.5. I got the Sooners winning, Temple covering. I am taking under on the 59.5. The Big 12 TCU Horned Frogs, 3-6 conference last year, 5-7 overall against the ACC Stanford Cardinal. Last year they were in the Pac-12. This year they're moving to the ACC. They were 2-7 in the Pac-12, 3-9 overall. TCU is favored by 9. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 60. The ACC's Clemson Tigers 4-4 in conference, 9-4 overall against the SEC Georgia Bulldogs, 8-0 in conference, 13-1 overall. Georgia's favored by 13.5 with an over/under of 48.5. I got Georgia winning, Clemson covering, under on the 48.5. The out of the FCS Missouri Valley Conference with the Illinois State Redbirds taking on the Big Ten Iowa Hawkeyes. They were 3-2 in conference, 10-4 overall last year. Iowa's favored by 22.5. I got the Hawkeyes winning, covering, and under on the 41. The Big Ten Penn State Nittany Lions, 7-2 in conference, 10-3 overall last year, going against the Big 12 West Virginia Mountaineers, who were 6-3 in the Big 12, 9-4 overall. Penn State's favored by 8. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 51.5. The Mountain West Colorado State Rams, they were 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference, going against the SEC Texas Longhorns, formerly of the Big 12. Texas is 8-4 in the Big 12, 12-2 overall. Texas is favored by 31.5. I got them winning, Colorado State covering, under on the 60.5. The ACC Miami Hurricanes, they were 3-5 in the ACC, 7-6 overall, going against the SEC Florida Gators, who were 3-5 in conference, 5-7 overall. Miami's favored by 2.5. I'm actually picking Florida plus 2.5 and under on the 54. The Ohio Bobcats out of the MAC, they were 10-3 overall, 6-2 in conference, against the ACC Syracuse Orange, who were 6-7 overall, 2-6 in conference. Syracuse is favored by 17.5. I got them winning, Ohio covering, and over on the 47. I got the Conference USA UTEP Miners, who are 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference, against the Big 12 Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are 5-7 overall, 3-6 in the Big 10. Nebraska's favored by 27.5. I got them winning, UTEP covering, and under on the 49. The American North Texas Mean Green taking on the Sunbelt South Alabama Jaguars. The Mean Green were 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference, while the Jaguars are 7-6 overall, 4-4 in conference. South Alabama is favored by 5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 64.5. The Mountain West UNLV Rebels taking on the Big 12 Houston Cougars. The Cougars are favored by 2.5. They were 4-8 in the Big overall last year, 2-7 in the Big 12. Where the UNLV Rebels were 9-5 overall, 6-2 in the Mountain West. Houston is favored by 2.5, so I got them winning, covering, and over on the 54. The SEC Alabama Crimson Tide, 12-2 overall, 8-0 in conference, going up against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers out of the Conference USA. They were 8-5 overall, 5-3 in conference. Crimson Tide are favored by 33. Now, without Nick Saban, are they going to still be good? We will see. I got Western Kentucky covering the 33 and picking over in the 59.5. The Big Ten's Michigan Wolverines National Championship, 15-0, 9-0 in conference, taking on the 9-4 Fresno Bulldogs out of the Mountain West. They're 4-4 in conference. Michigan is favored by 21, winning, covering, and over in the 45.5. Out of the SEC, we have the Texas A&M Aggies, who were 7-6 last year, 4-4 in conference, taking on the 10-3 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Texas A&M is favored by 3, going Notre Dame +3, and over in the 46.5. Out of the Big Ten this year, formerly known from the Big 12, the UCLA Bruins, who were 8-5 overall, 4-5 in conference, taking on the Mountain West Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, who were 1-0 in the season. They were 5-8 overall last year, 3-5 in conference. UCLA is favored by 14. I got them winning, covering, and under in the 54. Out of the Sun Belt, this James Madison Dukes taking on the American Conference Charlotte 49ers. Charlotte was 3-9 last year, 2-6 in conference, where the Dukes were 11-2, 7-1 in conference. James Madison's favored by 9.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 48. Now remember, we have the 12-team playoff this year, so we'll have the 5 Power 5 conference winners make the playoffs. I'm going to assume of the 12 teams, at least 9 will be Power 5 teams, if not 10. So that only leaves a few positions for the Sun Belt, Conference USA, American, and some of those lower tier teams, maybe Notre Dame. So I think it's going to be an interesting year to kind of see where those second tier teams, not the Power 5 teams, kind of fall when it comes to those playoffs and how many can and will make it. Out of the Big 12, we have the Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Mountain West Wyoming Cowboys. The Sun Devils are in the Big 12 this year. Last year in the Pac-12, they were 3-9, 2-7 in conference, with Cowboys 9-4 overall, 5-3 in the Mountain West. Arizona State's favored by 7. I got them winning, covering, it over in the 47.5. The Mountain West New Mexico Lobos, 4-8 overall, 2-6 in conference, taking on the Big 12 this year. Last year, Pac-12 Arizona Wildcats. They were 10-3 overall, 7-2 in conference. Arizona's favored by 31. I got New Mexico covering and under on the 59. And then last but not least, for week 1, the Boston College Eagles out of the ACC. 7-6 overall, 3-5 in conference, taking on the 13-1 ACC Florida Seminoles, who were 8-0 in conference. They're favored by 16.5, Florida State is. I got the Seminoles winning, Eagles covering, and under on the 50. So those are the 21 games for week number 1. So next week we'll have 25 and beyond 25. So we'll do NFL, CFL as well, NASCAR, Pro Wrestling, all of it right here on Robert Sports Show. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day, Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.